good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, Houston, Texas, precisely. 20th May is set and done. It is over, and Ambazonia has sent a message to La République du Cameroon. Bye bye, bye bye. Is that message. If they didn't get it for the past 8 years or 7 years and counting, I want to believe they got it this time. And the next one we're waiting to tell them the final goodbye is their so-called presidential and parliamentary elections they have coming up sometime this year or next year. That is the main subject of this broadcast tonight. I want to once more thank you for tuning in, and as usual, if you are watching by way of the social media, please do me the favor, hit that share button now. Let them know the anchor man is not live. He is indeed alive and kicking, actually. Please hit that share button. If you're watching by way of YouTube, you do the same. If you are watching on television, on Ground Zero, where we call the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, let somebody know the anchor man is live. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to having a very, very excited and illuminating broadcast tonight. Please do not touch your remote. Keep on hitting the share button as I'll be right back.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricatv@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricatv@gmail.com.
Once more, thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in tonight to be part of the broadcast. The 20th May is come and gone, and yet La République du Cameroon still continues to lick its wounds of what happened, be another failed attempt to force so-called national unity on the people of Ambazonia. It was meant to take place all over the national territory. And when I mean national territory here, I do not include La République du Cameroon, for we do not claim an inch of La République du Cameroon's territory to belong to Ambazonia. So by national territory, I am hereby referring to what we call the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So Cameroon had hoped that 20th May would, for the first time in 7 years and counting, take place in all of Ambazonia. Unfortunately, it just didn't turn out to be what they had expected. Ambazonians remain defiant, stayed at home, and the Ambazonian restoration fighters came out to prove their their bravery and determination to make sure that they fight this war to the end, and they did just that. Death reported from so many different locations in Ambazonia of the Cameroon army, and property destroyed of the Cameroon army. Again, the message to La République du Cameroon is bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. They can only see our backs, they cannot see us in front. That is the message that this 20th May send to the people east of the Mongol. And they still have, of course, trying to force themselves through their upcoming elections on Ambazonia. They are talking about presidential elections, parliamentary elections, senatorial elections, and I believe council elections too. You know, every time they have each of these events, they are trying to send a message through it. Unfortunately enough, for these 7 years in counting, their messages have failed to resonate. They have failed to pass across. Ambazonians have demonstrated their resilience and determination to have nothing but their own free country for these past 8 years, as they shun every political event organized in Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroons, by La République du Cameroon. And again, I have no doubt, absolutely no smidgen of doubt, that this coming election, as they plan, let them know we are also planning. As they plan, we are also planning. That election is not taking place in the territory called Ambazonia. We have left La République du Cameroon. It is highest time they realize that we are no longer part of that country. I have heard and seen some La République du Cameroon's politicians like the Camto and the Ninchos and so on come up to some of us and say, you know what, just allow your people to vote. Let them vote for us. After they conduct the elections are done. If we win, we will fix this country. That is what they try to say to us. And I am wondering, what is new? Talking also about these churches that continue to go out, especially the Catholic churches that continue to go out, beckoning on their members to go out to register. I continue to ask these religious leaders and the politicians, what is this election about, sir? If you really believe that this election has the capability of changing that country, what you should be doing is telling the powers that be that if they really want to be believed, if you want anybody to believe you, why not call for an inclusive dialogue with it in the presence of third parties to look into the political conflict before going into any elections? How about that? Call for an inclusive forum with Ambazonian leaders. Sit on the table and talk about the root causes to the conflict. And then after that is resolved, you have a guarantee of a peaceful election, just maybe, where Ambazonian participate again. I'm saying maybe. But until then, any efforts to go on with any form of election at this moment in Ambazonia is a no deal. It is a no deal, not at this moment, not today, when our people continue to die. After they vote, they will just continue killing you as they kill animals, as if you are game. That is what they do. And so, if you are an honest religious leader, if you are an honest politician, you would want to say, if they want to resolve the injustice in the country, Let them call for this inclusive dialogue or exclusive, whatever terminology you want to give to it. Let them call for it, sit everybody on the round table, bring in the third party, and let's talk about the root causes of the conflict. And then after that, maybe you can hold an effective election where when people go out to vote, they know for real they are voting for real leaders, not charlatans. Not charlatans and cronies who sit in Yaoundé and want you to believe they represent your interest. So please, our game now after 20th May is focus. Focus on stopping this infiltration into our own territory by a lot of political Cameroon's politicians. And I have said it, I announced it last time, any Elecam official in Ambazonia should be seen as an infiltrator. Infringing on our territorial integrity. Any Elecam official, and you find any Elecam office anywhere, it should go down, if possible, in flames. It should go down, if possible, in flames. Take the message to the people you give your reports to, that Chris Anu said so. Absolutely, I stand by that. We have to win this conflict, ladies and gentlemen, by any means. By any means. It doesn't have to be conventional means. No, by any means. Just by any means. Because La République du Cameroon doesn't care how many of our villages they burn down. Human rights reports say they've burned down over 400 settlements, not homes, but settlements. They don't care about what means they win this war. And so we are also not going to care about what means we keep them out of our territory. So we have to do everything to make sure nothing like Elecam exists. If you find them in your neighborhood, do anything that you can, because they are not welcome. They are trespassing. They are trespassing. Get them out of your neighborhood. You see any of Elecam official in your backyard again, know that they are infiltrators. Get rid of them actually. Get rid of them from your backyard. No polling station anywhere. No polling station anywhere in Ambazonia. That is our message towards that election, and we will do everything. They haven't seen anything. I listened to Paul Biya yesterday for the first time. I wish my technician could play that footage. But I listened to Paul Biya for the first time, sending condolences to the families of their army killed in Mamfe for the first time. Paul Biya sent condolences. I don't know what was going on in his mind. I don't know what was going on his mind, because this is not a guy who cares. He sends those boys out there to go and die. I was reading a report where they said, I think, over 1,600, 1,600 Cameroon army has been killed since this war started. I don't know how accurate that number is, but that is a lot for a trained and well-equipped army. That is a lot. That is a lot. They have not killed close to that number for the Ambazonian restoration fighters. Not at all. But if it is true that 1,600 Cameroon army has died in this war, that is a lot. And I don't know how long Paul Biya will continue to keep those innocent people out. They are not in the field because they want to fight. They are in the field because if they don't go to the field, they forfeit their salaries. Right? They forfeit their salaries. In fact, I was told a few days ago that this time the Cameroon army doesn't fight. The only time you see them in their convoys on the roads, heading to one destination or the other. The people who are actually going out into the combat fields are the DDRO guys. So what they have done is they pick the DDRO guys from each county or local government area and train them, give them guns to go out and chase amber boys, as they call it. But it is only when they get or kill any amber boys that the army will then show up to transport the corpse, go and display it on the public square, market square, as if they did it, because they cannot allow the DDR guys to stand there displaying their faces as the people who did it. But today, The people who are fighting are the DDRO guys and not the Cameroon army. The Cameroon army realizes that none of these terrains is familiar to them, and so to prevent a situation where they are killed on a daily basis, they sit at the local government area and send the DDRO guys to go out and fight for them. That is what is going on now. But again, Mr. Biya was out. I think it was May 20th. In the midst of some guests, I think the journalist asked him a question about the killings, and for the first time, His Excellency, the head of state, the head of state, everything is at his mercy, you know that. The head of state was offering condolences to the families of his soldiers, fighters, army killed in Manfe the other day. At the moment he was doing that, he had no idea of what was happening in Bansok. He had no idea of what was happening in Bello. He had no idea of what was happening in the upstation Bamenda called Akum, around the Santa area. He had no idea what was happening in Mundemba. All these places where Ambazonian restoration fighters were busy taking out or bringing down their trained, so-called trained military in the field. That is a picture, ladies and gentlemen. That is the picture. I am going to bring to you my first monologue for the day on the subject of this so-called 20th May. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Again, if you can go home with anything tonight from the message the Ambazonians send to La République du Cameroon and of course to the international community, it is that we are resolved that we are gone. We are gone. Please stay tuned. In the next 50 seconds, I will come to you with my monologue. Don't touch your remote. Please keep on hitting that share button. I want to see the numbers jumping. I want to see the numbers jumping if you are watching by way of social media. So please share the link. I'll be right back. The streets of the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, lay silent and empty on May 20th. This date, which the Cameroon government wants everyone to believe is the national day marking the unity of the two Cameroons, was instead a stark reminder of the disdain that Ambazonians have for it. It is instead a reminder to the Ambazonian people of the conflict and the killings they have had to go through in the name of national unity that just doesn't exist. For Ambazonians, this day, so-called 20th May, symbolize the abdication of their sovereignty to French Cameroon, a historical betrayal that ignited the ongoing conflict. This year, like in the past 8 years, Ambazonian civilians boycotted the 20th May event, underscoring once more their rejection of what they see as a fraudulent narrative of unity. To understand the depth of the conflict, one must look back to the events of May 20th, 1972. On this day, the then president of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo, orchestrated a referendum that effectively dissolved the federal structure of the country. transforming it into a unitary state without unity. This move was seen as a coup by Ambazonians, who had voted to join Cameroon in 1961 under a constitution that promised a federal system that would respect their autonomy and their freedoms and heritage. The abolition of the Federal Republic was a betrayal, stripping the Southern Cameroons of its self-governance and laying the groundwork for annexation, colonization, decades of marginalization, and discontent. The unity celebrated on May 20th is therefore viewed by Ambazonians not as a day of national cohesion, but as the day they lost their independence and were incorporated by French Cameroon, or East Cameroon as it was known. This year's May 20th celebrations were met with significant and organized resistance from Ambazonian restoration fighters and the civilians alike. In a demonstration of their enduring spirit and resolve, these restoration fighters enforced a 2-day lockdown across Ambazonia, effectively shutting down any attempts at celebrating the so-called Unity Day. The streets of Bello, Kumbo, Bafut, Falco, Mayu, and the BLM were patrolled not by celebrants, but by fighters determined to disrupt any Larabapridu Cameroon-led festivities. In several instances, these restoration fighters engaged in direct combat with the Cameroon military, resulting in casualties and further underscoring the untenable nature of Cameroon's reliance on military force to suppress the independent movement. In Kumbo, the Bui Unity warriors staged a devastating ambush, killing at least 6 Cameroon soldiers and destroying their military trucks. The mayor of Bello, a local education delegate, and 2 military personnel were among those killed in clashes in Bello. Similar incidents occurred in other parts of Ambazonia, including an attack by the expendables in the Indian county that resulted in the death of another Cameroonian soldier precisely in Mundemba. These attacks were not isolated incidents, but part of a coordinated effort to disrupt the May 20th celebrations and to send a clear message to the Cameroon government. The response from the civilian population was equally telling. Despite threats and coercive tactics from Cameroon officials, the majority of Ambazonians choose to stay home, refusing to participate in the celebrations. In places like the BLM, government officials were ferried in or imported from Yaoundé and Chang to give the semblance of a turnout. In Bamenda, Kumba, and Boya, threats of consequences for non-participation to government employees failed to compel attendance. The scanty and lackluster parades in Mbengwe, Ingi, Wum, and Minji were a testament to the widespread disdain for this 20th May event. The Cameroon government's belief that it can defeat the Ambazonian fighters or resilience through military might is not only misguided, but dangerous. The events of May 20th or 20th May as I call it have shown once again that the use of force only entrenches resistance and fuels the conflict further. The Ambazonian fighters are not just a ragtag group of rebels. They are a determined force with deep-rooted grievances and a cause they believe in passionately. Their ability to effectively shut down entire regions, counties, and local government areas and engage in a successful military operation against a better equipped national army speaks volumes about their resolve and capability. The lesson here for Cameroon is that the path to an enduring solution to the conflict does not lie through the barrel of a gun, but through genuine dialogue that addresses the root causes of this conflict. The events of May 20th should serve as a wake-up call to the Cameroon authorities. 8 years, and I mean 8 years, of fighting have not weakened the resolve of the Ambazonian people. Rather, it has strengthened their determination to fight for their independence. If Cameroon truly wants to end this conflict, it must engage in a sincere dialogue that acknowledges the historical injustices and seeks to redress them. Here are the interim government of Ambazonia. We are resolved that there can be no ceasefire. There can be no ceasefire without a commitment to addressing the fundamental grievances before a third party. This includes revisiting the circumstances surrounding the 1972 referendum and also recognizing the right of the Ambazonian people to self-determination. Without such a dialogue, any attempts at imposing peace through force will be futile and only lead to prolonged bloodshed. That is my talking point for the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that made some sense to you. Before I bring on my panel, I like to take you over to Kumbo, where you saw the images on your screen coming from there, an event, an incident that took place yesterday and on May 20th, where the restoration forces went right into the fief. The fief of La République du Cameroon's army in that town, and it confronted them there, leaving a number of casualties and trucks destroyed, as you could see in those images. I have my informant joining me right from there. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. It's good to hear from you once more. We have seen the images coming from Kumbo, beginning May 20th, and of course, yesterday. This was one of the battles all over Ambazonia waged against La République du Cameroon forces to stop them from infringing upon the territory with the so-called Unity Day, 20th May. Tell us, please, if you can, what you witnessed on May 20th and 21st in Kumbo with the Bui Unity Warriors.
Thank you once more, Comrade Chris, for having me on board, and fellow televiewers, good evening and accept greetings from the land of no return. It's really been a bloody, should I call it a week? The week hasn't ended yet, but we are just barely 2 days since 20th of May, But it didn't even start in Kumbu on the 20th, as we saw. We started in Kumbu on the 19th, where we punctured a convoy that was coming to prepare the military for this sham. I don't know if to call it 20th National Day, but I think the Cameroon ambassador in your country calls it an Independence Day.
Yeah, and I also just, talking about that, I also just saw a message from the U.S. Secretary of State referring to it as a national a national day. It's quite funny. That is a message that La République du Cameroon has sold to the international community for years. That 20th May is their Independence Day. It is their national day. But I guess those diplomats in Yaoundé would be correcting the U.S. State Department that this thing is a sham, nothing like Independence Day, nothing like a holiday, neither for Ambazonia, neither for French Cameroon. French Cameroon knows of January 1st. We know of October 1st. But go on, please.
Thank you for that rejoinder. And as I was saying, we had our own distortion of this so-called National Day. We started on the 19th because we are always a step ahead of La République terrorist talks. And that is why the forces which we call the Boys in Town under General Newsman had to block and puncture that convoy that was coming to enforce the forces that were preparing for the 20th May. And the first attack was at Milim, which you saw the explosive where one truck was brought down.
Yeah.
I think that was not enough. People thought that we were going to stay mute on the 20th of May itself. This was like going into the lion's den, where the warriors came face to face with the military that had militarized the whole of the colonial town called Tobin. It's also the administrative town, and they went there face to face. I mean, the people of Kumbu will testify and tell you that they have never seen military fleeing for their dear lives when the Unity warriors appeared. And immediately they fled from the Tobin roundabout. It gave room for them to be able to approach towards the Tobin Municipal Stadium, where the march past was taking place.
Okay.
Of course, you know what happened. The military is escaping. Definitely the colonial and CPDM elites and those paid Mbororos who were ferried into town to demonstrate or march on that day, they too ran for their dear lives.
Now, that was on May 20th.
May 20th, yeah. The first event was on the 19th, which was at Milim. Then the second one was at the Lions Den itself in Tobin. And then the incident of yesterday, which we have on, you have the footages on TV for people to see, is one of those jaw-breaking, we call it sweet breaking news.
Yeah.
Because of on the 30th of April, I think I was on TV trying to explain about the new bill complex that was inaugurated.
Right.
And you and me were having a conversation when people they were complain of the audio and that they were unable to hear what we were saying. And we were saying that it's like putting meat into the dog's mouth, because the presence of the bee camp, the biggest bee camp so far now that we have in Ambazonia, the presence is like a big advantage to the Unity warriors, because first of all, that is where we will carry out more harvest, where we will get more material to be able to confront them, because you already know the first attack which we had there, we harvested the biggest stick so far. Secondly, it's an opportunity for us to get, there were also some brigade commanders, especially the ones in Tadu, who were really assisting us in getting granules. So it's again an opportunity, because these bees, they are always hungry, they don't have allowances. An opportunity where we will buy cheaper granules to fight against them again. So
right.
It's also maybe they think that they are doing their country a favor But I think we are the ones who are going to benefit more because more will be neutralized. We'll get material cheaper now from them to fight those who will be coming in. And at the same time, we will also get material by force by harvesting from them. So the warriors were about starting to attack them, to start harvesting, when one of the trucks suddenly came out yesterday. And
we can for the viewers, you can actually see the truck on your screen with the legs upside down, and you can see some dead lot of public soldiers lying under the truck, lifeless.
That's right.
Look at the truck. That was horrible. Yes, go on, sir.
It was really horrible because I think they are beginning to become wiser. Because each time they hear gunshots from the Unity warriors, the first thing for them now to do is not to retaliate, is to escape to safety. Because they know they cannot stand the boys. You know, when you fight like a guerrilla, you never know where your enemy is shooting.
Exactly, and you never know where they are hiding.
Did I hear you?
Yeah, I say yes, and you never know where they are hiding.
Exactly. So yesterday, when they came out, they were going to probably, I don't know, they were going towards the colonial town in Tobin. But immediately, the warriors opened fire because they had taken ambush opposite their gate. The only thing for them, they could no longer make a U-turn to the barrack. They only had to run at a very high speed towards the colonial town where they could get refuge. But we are still in doubt whether those gunshots got the driver who was driving the truck before the truck somersaulted.
Yeah.
What happens is that they were running from the attacks from the Unity warriors at very high speed, and they found themselves in the slope. And that is the consequence. You can see what you are, as you are showing on the TV, that those are the effects of that exchange between them and the warriors. And something would have happened that would have been worse if not of the fact that backup came from Tobin, which is about 2 kilometers away, to rescue them. This morning, although I was on transit, the general who carried the attack with the Major General Viper, they informed us that by midday they had not succeeded to tow this truck. So I will not be surprised if this evening it is still there. But the good thing is that they try to evacuate their corpses. Some people are saying 6, some say 12. I don't know how many, but I know that the casualties were heavy.
So as of this evening, possibly the truck is still at the location. They have always succeeded to retrieve the corpses and the injured.
Yes, it is possible because we haven't gotten any confirmation so far, maybe because I was out of network as well. But I haven't gotten any confirmation. But by midday, I was told that they are still struggling to tow the truck and with load headers and some other caterpillars, choppers around, but nothing happened at that particular moment.
This barrack was set up and inaugurated only a few days ago, and there was jubilation among the politicians in the town and the colonial officials. They hope that will bring some tranquility, and it will push the restoration fighters away and subsequently subdue them. I don't know. What do you gather in town of what they are saying now, that in spite of the fortification of the presence of a lot of public fighters or soldiers on the ground, this is going on, the boys have the fortitude to go right into their arbor to attack them?
Comrade Chris, this for me is just a mere propaganda from the enemy side, because if you know Bui County well, there is no village that you will name in Bui County where they don't have a military base, which they have placed because of the war. And the aim was to see if they will chase the warriors. But we are guerrillas, so you never know where we are. And we have removed most of the military base that were instituted only because of the war. This B camp has been in existence. They have been there and the warriors have been attacking them. So the only thing they were making noise about was the inauguration that took place on the 30th. And that was simply, their aim is just to extort money from their government that they are doing something. it was just a ceremonious event. The camp has been existing there, and our warriors have been entering there anytime they wanted. I just told you we got the stick that one of the biggest sticks that we have harvested more was from there, and that was before the inauguration. So there is nothing. I just told you an opportunity again for the warriors to get materials cheaper and even for free. There's nothing
Absolutely.
new. If
Absolutely.
you go to Tadu, you go to Kumbu. Kumbu has military bases. They have another big camp in Tobin. Then they have the gendarmes. They have the company. What do they not have in Bui? But yet, you know how successful our guerrilla fighters have always been.
Well, comrade, thank you for updating us with this. Please send our regards to the commanders and the captains at the Bui Warriors and tell them.
And before I leave, can I say something, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to thank you this time, not for the support, but for the care you look after civilians, and that when you get complaints concerning some infiltrated, let me call it boys, who are trying to distort and put our civilians into harm's ways or try to do behave in some certain behaviors that we do not welcome. I want to really thank you for listening to the civilians and for your intervention and your advice to see how we can work in synergy with our civilians, because without the civilians we have no revolution, we have no success. And keep on, and we are looking forward. I want to tell you that we are not sent in Unity Warriors, and I can tell you that last month we shared a video online where the leadership of the Unity Warriors disciplined some of their commanders based on this unholy behavior, not because these commanders were guilty, but because some of their fighters became very wayward, and we are going against the principles, the code of conduct for this fight, for this struggle. So I really want to appreciate that you always reach out to us on the concerns that you get from the civilians. Please keep on that as well.
Thank you. I absolutely understand what you are talking about. I get a lot of information from our people on ground zero, and the right thing to do is to pass it to the appropriate leaders, so that with their proximity to the fighters, they can do appropriate corrections. This war is not against our people. It is about defending them. It is about protecting them. It is about ensuring their freedoms. And should we have any rogue fighters among us who disregard this, the right thing to do is to discipline them. And I appreciate that you are trying to do the right thing with the warriors. With some other fighters, you will see people trying to defend them. Oh, you don't know what these boys they go through. You don't know what. I have had my own brother in the bush sleeping on trees. I know exactly what these guys they go through in the bushes. But it is no excuse to go after the very civilians they're supposed to be defending and protecting. If anything, if they go begging for help from civilians, I am totally for that. And many civilians, I believe, will be disposed to helping them. But not harassing them, not intimidating them, not abducting them, not taking ransoms from them. It is wrong. And all of us must correct it and do whatever we can to make sure that it is limited. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Comrade Chris. And as we say, civilians are always welcome to contact the leader.
All right.
They work with them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when I come back from this brief minute out, I will come to you discussing the subject of Professor Julius Ingor with the Cameroon, the constitution subject that Professor Julius Ingor discussed with the Cameroon calling CRTV's Cameroon calling last weekend. Please don't touch your motor. I will be right back in less than a minute. right, ladies and gentlemen, after this monologue, I will be bringing you my panel for tonight. But for this moment, I come to you with this monologue focus on the subject of the 1961 Federal Constitution that led to the so-called 20th May after its abrogation by Amadou Ahidjo. They want you to believe that we all voted for it. It is misplaced history. Some call him the purveyor of Cameroonian history, but others label him the chief distorter. I am here referring to renowned Professor Victor Julius Ngo, former Dean and Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Boya, and former President of the Catholic University of Boya. In last week's edition of Cameroon Calling on CRTV, it featured Professor Ngo in a discussion on the significance of May 20th in the historical context of the two territories. Professor Ngo's response has ignited a firestorm of controversy. He claimed that those who bear arms today and attribute the current conflict to the alteration of the 1961 Federal Constitution are misguided. He talked about reunification as if unification had previously existed. According to him, the 1961 Federal Constitution wasn't designed to safeguard the federal system of governance, but to uphold the sanctity of the nation state referring to La République. This raises pertinent questions. The sanctity of a nation supposedly united by the 1961 Constitution was being protected from what and from who? It seems not, Ngo implies that the Constitution aimed to prevent Southern Cameroons from seceding. Articles 46 and 47 of that Constitution are unequivocal. The framers intended to protect the minority and to ensure their freedoms and autonomy could never be compromised. These articles explicitly stated that the federal system could not be abolished or altered. Professor Ngo's argument is considered a blatant distortion of facts, rather than acknowledging the original intent of the framers of the Constitution to protect, ladies and gentlemen, to protect the minority. He twists it to serve the interest of the majority, precisely what the Constitution sought to prevent. It is outrageous, to say the least, for him to suggest that those currently engaged in conflict today are misled about these facts. Rather, they are incensed because intellectuals like Professor Ngo are dishonest in their interpretation of the Constitution and our historical narrative. I invited Professor Ngo to this show today to clarify his assertions, but he refused to appear. Professor Ngo's interpretation is not only flawed, but dangerous, as it fuels further mistrust and conflict. It is essential that we address these distortions head on to ensure an honest and accurate understanding of our history. And that is the monologue. Now I'd like to introduce my panel for tonight. I am being joined, ladies and gentlemen, from London by Barrister Tumasang Martin. It's a pleasure to have you once more, Barrister Martin.
Thank you, Comrade Chris.
And also joining from London still is Barrister Alex Lisenger. Barrister, great to have you again.
Thank you, Chris Anno, and it's always a pleasure to be on a platform. And I always like to come to your program or other programs because as I live in London, people want to have differences. Politics is about talking with different people, different ideology, and put your point. And I'm happy also to see Barrister Thomas on your platform. And my greetings to the beautiful people of the Cameroons.
All right, and as you said, that is the reason why I bring people like you with whom we have differences of opinion. I still bring you on. We are very fair, very fair. We are not scared of different shades of opinion. But we are also joined from Africa by Comrade Dennis Item. It's good to have you back, sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chris. I'm glad to be here with you people. I'm glad to participate in this particular outing on the 20th May. I hope our people are listening.
All right, thank you. Now, before we head on, I would like to play a brief segment of the interview of Professor Julius Ngol on CRTV last week for our audience to listen. Please listen.
About the vote for a unitary state in 1972.
I should start by explaining that with all due respect to the French political system, the French political system is very uncomfortable with a federal system. It is not in the French political was made to believe that the celebration of May 20th
Context is a historian who has written several books on Cameroon history, Professor Victor Julius Ngor. In the following interview, I first wanted to know from the professor of history what exactly Cameroonians are celebrating on May 20.
I think this point should be made very clear because there have been lots and lots of confusion, and the public at one time was made to believe that the celebration of May 20th was celebration of reunification. I want to state very clearly that the reunification took place on the 1st of October 1961 between the Republic of Cameroon and the former British Southern Cameroons. So what Cameroonians are celebrating on the 20th of May is the transition from a federal system of government to a unitary system of government. So that's what Cameroonians will be celebrating and have been celebrating since the 20th of May 1972.
Some people have been asking why May 20 is the country's national day and not a day like October 1, which you talked about, that saw the reunification of Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroun in 1961.
It is important to recall that at one time, 1st January was celebrated as the Independence Day of the former French Cameroon, and 1st October was celebrated as the reunification between the Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroon, because Southern Cameroon on that day attained independence by joining the Republic of Cameroon, and it should be underscored that there have been several national days in Cameroon. So what is important to bear in mind that the authorities or the people who enjoy the sovereignty can decide based on some historical factors to decide which particular day they will celebrate. And it so happens that the representatives of the people, the National Assembly, and of course the President of the Republic at the time decided that 20th May should be celebrated as National Day and not 1st January and not 1st October.
There has been debate over the legality of the May 20, 1972 referendum that led to the dismantling of the Federal Republic comprising West Cameroon and East Cameroon. Was it in conformity or not with the provisions of the 1961 Fumban Constitution?
That is a very important point, and lots of sentiments have been put into it. And before I answer the question, I would like to point out that the ongoing conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region has been aggravated by a misinterpretation, misreading of what occurred on 20th of May 1972, to the extent that some young Cameroonians, mostly Anglophones, have taken up arms, saying that what occurred on the 20th of May 1970 was a violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And they cite Article 47, which in summary form says no revision of this Constitution, which affects the unity and territorial integrity of the Federation, will be admissible. That is the problem. There are 2 points here. First, the Federation in this context, it should be made very clear. The Federation in this context means the nation, the state, the country, and not the system of government. So that article should be read as follows. No revision of this Constitution which affects the unity and territorial integrity of the nation or of the state or of the country will be admissible. It is not a system of government. And this point is well made in the Constitution of West Cameroon. And it seems as if most Cameroonians don't even know that the state of West Cameroon had its constitution. And it clearly stated that federation means the Federal Republic of Cameroon, which, you should explain it, means the nation, the country, the state, and not the system of government. Secondly, Article 47 says no revision should be taken which affect the unity and territorial integrity. But look at Article 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. We all agree that in a democratic society, sovereignty lies with the people, which means that given the political, economic, and social evolution of the country, the people can decide what form of government and what system of government they want because they have the sovereignty. And Article 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon clearly stated the sovereignty lies with the people, with the Cameroonian people, and they can exercise their sovereignty either through the elected members of parliament or by a referendum. And Amadou Ahidjo decided on a referendum to ensure that the people express their sovereignty. And of course, the National Assembly, the Federal National Assembly at the time, comprised 50 members, 40 from East Cameroon and 10 from West Cameroon. And there was a proviso which gave veto powers, and it stated clearly for any major constitutional revision to be implemented, a majority of parliamentarians from both states, East Cameroon, West Cameroon, must accept or must vote yes, which means that if all the 40 parliamentarians from East Cameroon voted yes, and 4 of the parliamentarians from West Cameroon voted yes, which means 44 parliamentarians voted yes, and 6 parliamentarians from West Cameroon voted no, the revision or the abrogation of the federal system would not have taken place. So Cameroonians should be made to understand that it was not a violation of the Constitution. It was not a violation of Article 47. And I would like to end on this point. Cameroonians, historians, scholars should make the difference between what is constitutionally correct and what is politically unwise.
You said sovereignty lies with the people,
yes,
and yet it's the then President Amadou Ahidjo who decided that sovereignty or the will of the people should be decided through a referendum. Is there an incongruity here?
Of course not, because it was tabled in the National Assembly, and the parliamentarians representing the people approved the motion. And of course, for Ahidjo to be very sure, because the tendency at that time, we are talking of 1972, it was a one-party system. And there was a possibility that opponents of the unitary system would say, oh, it was a one-party system, and they all told a party line. Of course, Amadou Ahidjo, as politically smart as he was, said, okay, we'll give it to the people to decide. And by a vast majority, more than 98%, West Cameroonians voted yes. East Cameroon, 98% voted yes. And it is necessary because there's this feeling that was the overwhelming Francophone population, French-speaking population in West Cameroon that tilted the vote. No, we are talking of 1972. We are not talking of 2024. 1972, the proportion of French-speaking Cameroonians in West Cameroon was very small.
Let us leave it there for the moment. Let's leave it there for the moment. But, comrade, this is my understanding of what Professor Ngo is saying out there and wants all of us to believe it. He is saying that the rightful interpretation of the Federal Constitution of 1961, Articles 46 and 47, is essentially that constitution, by saying the federal nature of the state can never be abrogated, was essentially referring to the unity of the nation state and not the system of government. In fact, he tries to differentiate between the form of government and a nation as a state or as a country. Is this your understanding of that Article 46 and 47 of the Federal Constitution, Comrade Metro Alisenge? I start with you, sir. What is your understanding here?
Chris, I'm very disappointed with Professor Victor Ngo for going on a taxpayer-funded CRTV, because they cannot bring us on that program and try to call or compare a lizard with a crocodile. I should make it clear on your program. Professor Victor Ngo is a historian. He is not a lawyer to interpret legal things. A historian is a person who writes about past events. So I'm surprised that they will call Professor Ngo to come and interpret legal matters. Then, I want to say, you use the word that is an intellectual. I'm sure sometimes we misuse that word in the Cameroon. An intellectual is a person who involves, a person who has the ability to think and understand an idea and information. I don't consider Professor Victor Ngo as an intellectual. He's not. He cannot understand ideologies or what happened. The point is, the Article 47 is very, very clear. I've been on a platform with Professor Victor Ngo. He used the word reunification. You cannot reunite a Portuguese slave plantation. Cameroon was never a country. So you cannot, Riodos Cameroon was not a country. It was a slave plantation. The German came there to take over. So you cannot reunify something that was not existing. You can reunify, like example, Germany was partitioned. They had a president, and what Poland was partitioned. So you can reunify them because they were existing. So we became a country where two countries, West Cameroon under Dr. Ndedi and Aïdjo's Cameroon, they came together. So when he keeps on playing with words and saying that Aïdjo had the right to change whatsoever, if you look at the current constitution of La République du Cameroon today, is it Article 64? It says the same thing. You cannot change the form of state and national natural sovereignty and integrity. The same article is there. So compare Article 64 with Article 47 of the Federal Constitution. It's the same thing. They are telling you that don't change the form of the state. So sometimes they play with people's lives, and people who don't tell the truth is very dangerous. And if you look, we talk about the form of the state. If you look at Article 6 of the French Cooperation Agreement, that's in 1959. We were not together. Even La République was not independent. What did they say on Article 6? France shall determine Cameroon's political, economic, and socio-cultural orientation. France shall manufacture the money of Cameroon, that's La République. France shall guide and determine the Cameroon educational program. You have the ENAM, the ENS, all those things, the gendarmerie, all those are French things. France shall be given priority to exploit Cameroon's natural resources, and they will protect the president militarily. These are things that they did in 1959, and all those things are still happening today. So it was just a fait accompli. It's a fait accompli. But my point is, the English part of Cameroon and the French Cameroon, when did we agree that we are not going to use shilling, we are going to use franc CFA? When did we agree that we are going to use ENAM or unelected governor? When? We never agreed. Cameroon is just a confused country. It's a confused country. And any person, whether you're French-speaking Cameroonian or English-speaking Cameroonian, the fact is we have been annexed, we have been marginalized, we have been assimilated, and this must stop. It doesn't matter whether you're French or English. Even the current constitution of La République du Cameroon says that we are equal, but they treat us like a fly upon a sheet. And whoever, as an Anglophone, I've seen people saying that they are not second-class citizens. My point is, if you are not second-class citizen, why are you not practicing your own things, the English institution that we inherited? Why do we have the ENAM? Why do we have France CFA, military tribunal, unelected governors, ZIOs, ENS, CEMAC, which is a French institution? We don't even have English in our currency. So how are you not a second-class citizen? Sometimes the truth is bitter, but we must talk about it. At the end of the day, a secessionist in Cameroon is the government of La République du Cameroon.
Well put.
Yes,
Hold your thought there, comrade. Let me get to the other panelists here. Let me get to Dennis. You are a great student of history and you know these facts off by head. Again, Professor Ngo is essentially saying that the idea, the clause that the federal nature of the state, it can never be changed. He is saying it was referring to the unity, the integrity of the nation state and not the system of government. Is that what you have come to understand from that constitution?
Comrade Chris, I want to say these are the stupidities that you get when you get people who call themselves historians to come and interpret the law. A constitution is, first of all, a legal document. It's not just history. This man is not competent to come and interpret that constitution. Let me begin by saying that this argument about the constitution is completely irrelevant as far as the Southern Cameroons is concerned. Why? Because this was a local law of La République du Cameroun. It was a domestic document promulgated in their parliament, debated in their parliament, and promulgated by their president without consulting the Southern Cameroons. The people of the Southern Cameroons never endorsed it. The parliament of the Southern Cameroons never endorsed it. So we are even making a mistake by arguing about Article 47 of a constitution that did not bind us. This was a document that was, in fact, passed 1 month before the trusteeship over the Southern Cameroons was terminated. Secondly, if you listen to him, you will hear him say that Article 47 was about the territorial integrity of the nation. I don't know where he read that. I have the Article 47 here before me, which says any proposal for the revision of the present constitution which impairs the unity and integrity of the federation shall be inadmissible. Now let us follow his stupid logic. In what circumstance would a nation say that to revise, it prohibits a revision which impairs the territorial integrity of the nation? Tell me, let me understand that. So, you see, this man is trying to stupefy himself by saying that it was not referring to the federation. No, so he means that the drafters of this constitution did not have the word to use. They had to use the word federation when they did not mean federation. Is that what he's saying?
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Reread that article again. Reread that article. I believe Professor Ngo must be watching this show. I love him to listen to that, and he is free to call in to maybe justify his point. But please read that article again to our hearing.
Good. Article 47. Any proposal for the revision of the present constitution which impairs the unity and integrity of the federation shall be inadmissible. That those are the terms
hold on there.
Hold
on there. Hold on there. Let me play the devil's advocate here. Would you think that Professor Ngo is referring to federation as the federation of Ambazonia or Southern Cameroons or West Cameroon and East Cameroon, and not necessarily that the word is referring to a system? Yes, go on. Can you hear? Dennis, go on. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. So, you know, this is why I say those stupidities cannot pass anywhere. They can only pass in La République du Cameroun, where anything will go as long as it is said in support of the government. Now, before even we come to this issue, let us look at the times. In 1972, this was a one-party system in which whether you voted or you did not vote, it was 99.99%. So you cannot say that this fraudulent so-called referendum was an expression of the will of the people of the Southern Cameroons. Let me ask Ngo this question. What value was the unitary state to the people of the Southern Cameroons that they would decide to vote against the federation which protected their identity and their own culture? Let him explain that to us. What was the value of the unitary state to the people of the Southern Cameroons who would opt to abandon it in favor of the unitary state in which they will never again have a voice?
All right.
Can he answer that question? What was the purpose of negotiating before the plebiscite for there to be a federation as a minimum condition for the people of the Southern Cameroons to achieve their independence in association with La République du Cameroun?
Good question there. I believe he may be listening to you. Let me get to Barrister Martin there. Barrister, one assertion that Professor Julius Gore also made in his interview over CRTV is that what took place in 1961 was reunification. Reunification, that is what took place in 1961. I don't know, you have an idea when unification took place?
Before I go to that point, let me just first introduce the issue. We have this guy in Gore. It's an ignoramus who has a historian who has arrogated unto himself the powers or the capability to interpret the Constitution. Even lawyers, many of them find it difficult sometimes to interpret the Constitution. There are 12 rules to interpreting the Constitution. Can Mr. or Professor Ngo name one of them? He is exactly like a driver who does not know the highway code. How do you expect him to drive properly? He cannot name one of the fundamental rules out of the 12 of interpreting a constitution, but he wants to come on air and be interpreting a constitution. A driver who does not know the highway code, how can he get the journey right? Secondly, this same Mr. Ngo or Professor Ngo, he's noted for distorting the Cameroon history or Southern Cameroon history. But I will tell him, I know he's listening to this, that in open court in communication 266/2003 in Banjul, we stated our history. La République stood up and said they are not disputing our history. Our history is not in dispute. The issue is the consequences of our history. So La République is refusing to dispute our history. So he is on his own. La République in open court said we don't dispute your history. So he is trying to dispute the history, keep bringing different versions. That is not the key issue. So let me go again to this constitution thing. Has been making a big deal. Mr. Ngo or Professor Ngo does not understand our case. Our case has never been prevaricated on that constitution. That's not our case. Our case is not based on constitution, this clause of the constitution, or that clause of the constitution. First of all, a constitution is not a treaty. A constitution is not an international treaty that can bind one country that had an independence on different day and another one. Two former class B territories cannot be bound by a constitution. We're supposed to have a treaty, a union treaty or whatever. A constitution is what we call in law the grand norm of the country, which is the supreme law of a country. It's not an international instrument. It's a subject of municipal or domestic law. You cannot go into international plane and be pleading your constitution. It doesn't work that way in international law. I've written textbooks on international law. Constitution is nothing. It's a domestic document. Thirdly, let's go back to 1961. Our case in 1961 is that there are two issues we have in 1961. One is that sovereignty never passed to whether La Republic or that federal structure, whatever they have. So Southern Cameroon sovereignty remains with Southern Cameroon. One, because there's no union treaty that could bind these two international personalities together. La Republic has never produced the union treaty. But international law says that, okay, if there is no treaty, sovereignty can still pass using something they call a tacit agreement, which is that they take the agreement of the parties before, They see whether the agreement has been realized. They see whether the outcome has been agreed by both parties and there is no resistance or argument about it. So if you take the Southern Cameroon situation, yes, okay, there was no treaty. Let's go to the second part. You had our agreement, the mutual agreement of the parties was a pre-plebiscite agreement where they had what they agreed in the plebiscite. Whatever came out as the de facto situation does not satisfy all those plebiscite agreement. The outcome was never accepted, and so many people contested it. Even if it was accepted, if you see the argument I drafted in our case, even if it was accepted, it was mere pretension, which was dismantled within 10 years, which is a very short period in international law. So to show that for them to the principle that sovereignty can pass only if the agreements of the people were met, the intentions of the parties were met. I will refer Mr. Ngo, Dr. Ngo, to the Temple of Prayer case in the International Court of Justice. I will still refer Mr. Ngo to the South Ledge case in the International Court of Justice. If he doesn't know what he's doing, let him ask the people who know, instead of going around disgracing himself. So all these things talking about constitutions 1970, it means nothing to us. Constitution is a domestic, it's not a subject of international law. We are approaching this thing from a position of international law. Secondly, let's assume our parents did whatever they did, even accepted all what Mr. Ngo is saying. Our parents did their thing in 1972 or 1961. But our parents were allowed to do the things because they were a people. And the United Nations has all referred them to as a people. And the court in Banjul have said they are a people. When you are a people in international law, you have inalienable right. So whatever you decided in 61, 72, you have the right now as a people to decide otherwise. That's why Quebec has got more than almost three referenda. Scotland is about to have another referenda because it is a continuous exercise of power. So whatever our people decided in 1961 is totally irrelevant anyway. Today, if our people say we don't want La Republique and we only want them to be our neighbor, it is our inalienable right to determine our own political situation, our economic advancement and everything. That is what self-determination is. As I've repeated on this platform before, there are two types of self-determination. You have an internal self-determination, like the Pygmies might be a people that want to self-determine. They will say, no, you can have sovereign, you can have autonomy or something within Cameroon because you are part of Cameroon. So, but we now, because for you to be part of a country and self-determined to be independent, you must reach something we call the international law, the Katanga threshold, which is based on the Katanga principle. So we who submitted in Banjul and everywhere now that no, we are not fettered by the Katanga threshold. The Katanga threshold is unless the human violation is so much of a level that it is unconscionable for the two of you to remain together. If you are part of a country, they cannot just allow you to self-determine and live out of the country. But we say no, Katanga has nothing to do with us because we are an external entity. We came externally to join La Republique there to be so we can self-determine and direct to independence at any point in time. Lastly, let me stop. I know I've gone a bit long. Let me address your problem now about this 1961 or the rest, reunification and the rest. What Cameroon is hiddenly trying to say is they are a successor state to the German Cameroon. They are forgetting that German Cameroon had so many different parts there, some in Chad, some in Central Africa, Gabon, Southern Cameroon. The fact that the name Cameroon is in their own Cameroon, whether French Cameroon is Cameroon, does not make them the successor state of German Cameroon. Neither can Southern Cameroon decide that we are a successor state. That state was extinguished and there is no aftermath again, it's finished. So they are saying that, oh, they are a successor state of German Cameroon and a part of German Cameroon is reuniting. So that is reunification. That is the type of falsehood they are trying to play to hoodwink those who don't know international law. Sorry, please, I took a bit longer. I'm supposed to leave.
That is okay. One assertion that Professor Ngo made in this interview is that, let me see if I can get the wordings here, that sovereignty lies with the people according to that 1961 constitution. And he referred to the vote in Yaoundé Parliament to accept or reject the revision of the constitution. There are 2 points I would like to ask all of you there. Now, the people did not summon a referendum of the referendum of 1962. Ahijo did. And I suppose, I may be wrong, I think I've read this, that if there were going to be any changes on that constitution, the Southern or West Cameroon Parliament in Boya had to vote and approve it. Am I correct? Any of you can answer. That the West Cameroon Parliament had to approve any changes in that constitution, irrespective of what happened in Yaoundé. Am I correct?
I just know that Ahijo came on the podium. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Dennis, go on.
Comrade Chris, no, I want to say that if there was any need to change the federal form of the state, it is only the people of the Southern Cameroons who had a right to vote. It was not supposed to be the people of La République de Cameroon, for the simple reason that it was the people of the Southern Cameroon who had voted to join La République de Cameroon in a federation. Not only that, the federation was for the purpose of protecting only the people of the Southern Cameroons. It was not to protect the majority Francophone public. So there could be no question of the Francophones voting to abolish the federation, which was not instituted to protect them.
Well, that's exactly the argument I made. That is a subject. Is the point of me saying that Professor Ngos essentially skewed and twisted the whole interpretation. The Constitution, the Federal Constitution, was meant to protect the minority, to make sure their rights and freedoms were not infringed upon, that their autonomy was not touched.
Exactly.
But it has twisted it and skewed it to mean that it was meant to protect the territorial integrity of the federal nation, which is not the case. But this is the question, though. This is the question, though. If the people, according to him, had the sovereignty over everything, did the people approve of the referendum? And when I mean the people of the Southern Cameroons. Of course, they did not. And I would like my friend, Barrister Alex, to take this question. For those of you who are federalists out there who believe that going back to the federal structure perhaps is the best thing to do, I listened to Professor Ngo, and he said in Parliament in Yaoundé, there were 70 parliamentarians, 60, or as if, I think he said 40. All of the 40 French Cameroon parliamentarians voted for a referendum. And out of the 10 Ambazonian or Southern Cameroons parliamentarians in that house of 50 people, 10 Southern Cameroon parliamentarians, only 4 voted to support it. And for as long as 4 voted to pass it, it was a win situation. So when those of you who are still arguing for a federation today, consider that in 1961, or let's say 1972, they had 50 parliamentarians. I think they are close to 200 today. Now, about 200, let's say they have 25, or let's just say 30 Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians, West Cameroonians in the current house, and you want a federation. Do you realize that the Southern Cameroon still has no say, no powers in that setup in the so-called federation? It just takes us back to 1972, where they need just 4 votes. 4 votes. And the rest of French Cameroon votes dominate everything. So you cannot vote in Bamenda or in Boya to say, Parliament, I want my own elected governors. I want SDOs out of here. I want only mayors. I want our own local police. You cannot do that because in Yaoundé, the Francophone still overwhelms Parliament and Senate. And any bill they bring to Parliament will pass, but any bill that a Southern Cameroonian takes to Parliament has 90% chances of failing because they don't have the votes. That is why I don't understand why some of you still argue that we can take federation and run away with it as if it empowers us to have some autonomy. Comrade Alex.
To answer your question, I'm talking about for more than 35 years all my life, I don't do form of state. I've always fight for equal status, that two countries came together. That's what I'm talking about. I don't do federalism or whatsoever. Equal status. I believe that Southern Cameroon was a country, and I believe La Republic was a country. And if we were living together, I believe that two countries will have to identify it, and British Cameroon should have their own parliament different from La Republique du Cameroon. That's what I often believe. And again, when Professor Victor was talking, to be honest, he is very ignorant in the sense that my constitutional lecturer in Guakelé Yaoundé University, Bipumum Jean-Marie, said constitution is not for the dead, but for the living. That's what he said. And again, if you are drafting a constitution as a constitutional expert, you look at the country, is it homogeneous or heterogeneous? Cameroon is not a homogeneous country, that's similar culture. It's heterogeneous. So all these things that we are talking about, it was a scam planned by, it was a scam. They were just going to go unity state. You can never have a unity state in a country like the Cameroon with different ethnicity and whatsoever. It was a scam to continue colonialism because these people, they colonized us. They said countries that were not able to govern themselves. But the truth is, they came there for what? Natural resources. To have a strong president, they can take their resources. They don't consult any person before they sell our diamonds, our gold, and whatsoever. That was the game since before the so-called independence. And again, I'll bring this closer to you. Most of us will say Cameroon is a sovereign state. Cameroon is not a sovereign state. The Cameroon is not even independent. One, they are in CEMAC. CEMAC is controlled by France. And what CEMAC does, you see, the interest rate of Cameroon, the Minister of Finance have got no say on it. That's not an independent country. The monetary policy of Cameroon, the Minister of Finance cannot talk about it. That's not independent. So we are not sovereign. It's CEMAC. You have joint sovereignty. Scholars, they have written about it. We have what they call joint sovereignty. And to be honest, to my point of view, it's treason. Because Mr. Bia, you cannot go and join CEMAC, which is run by France, without consulting the people. We are talking about a referendum in 1972. What have we done? Why was there no referendum when they changed the constitution? Why was there no referendum when Mr. Bia did the so-called decentralization? We keep on speaking in 1970. It was a game plan before the so-called independence. The real people who were fighting, if you want to say, the day the French Cameroon La République had independence was in 1955. They called it La Proclamation by the NS Wanji. They declared independence in 1955. They called it La Proclamation. That's the day French Cameroon had the real independence. What happened there? They started killing the Umyobe, NS Wanji, Felix Mumi. They killed all of them. Then they handed it to Pudu, the Aijo, and they gave them a plan. You have to start to manifest this until what? What we are doing was very accompli. I don't see why we are even complaining. To me, genuinely, the people of British Cameroon, they have a great concern. And to me, by the end of this year, if La République du Cameroon does not respect that British Cameroon was a country, I believe that would be the end of it. There are certain things I don't stand and talk on this our platform sometimes, but I understand what is happening behind the scenes. If by the end of this year they cannot respect, and one thing I will tell you, Chris, most of us we should understand, Scottish National Party, they want independence. What do? They brought decentralization. They made sure that they took all the seats. They are the one controlling Scotland. So you might want independence. They want to bring their fake special status. Take it. When they bring their fake regional, say, take it until you go and reach your point. It's step by step. I call it small, small catchy monkey. Scottish National Party, they don't want decentralization. They want independence. But they make sure that they have got all those seats and they are controlling Scotland. Same in Catalonia, same in Quebec. You don't need. Even if you want independence, when the British their 4196, make sure you get it to put it in your pocket. Then you are in control. That's how it works. To me, I don't see a difference. The
The
road
No
to
problem,
way.
the problem with
No
that,
way.
comrade, with the
No
system in
way.
La
No way.
Republic is that they
No
have
way.
they put those things on paper and they are never practiced. You can say yes, I take decentralization or I take special status, but it ends on paper. They did that since 2019. Tell me if you have seen one change in that country with the special status.
I've stated it quietly. It was a 419. It was not, I went to the national dialogue. It was a 419. There was nothing even in the decentralization committee like a special status. It's after some time we caused some problem there. They just did their fake thing. There's nothing like decentralization. We have decentralization in the United Kingdom. So it's fake. We know that. But at some time, whether they do whatever, we have to keep on putting the pressure on whatever. The road to independence passes through whether it's fake special status, federalism, step by step, we're going to be there. Because to me, personally, I believe two countries came together. And I always say, the name of Scotland have never been changed after 300 years. Why is it that the name of British Cameroon have been changed? And they went back to their name they call La République de Cameroon. The truth is, the point is, these people, they know we have a case. If you read their constitution, I read their constitution. Even in Article 65 of La Republic Constitution, you have a right to say you want independence. You have a right to say you want to, as they call it, separation. It is a political opinion. So that's why I'm surprised that some people, they say they are separatists, they are in Condé. In their constitution, Article 65, they have no right to lock you up. I have a right to say, if you vote for me, I want British Cameroon to be independent. It is my right. But unfortunately, the people of Cameroon, the form of government we have in Cameroon is something I call personalized form of government, which means that what? You will see a governor will say that let's terrorize the terrorists. In Cameroon, their law says that terrorism is a crime. You will see a deal saying let's use witchcraft to fight Amber. In the penal code of Cameroon, they say that witchcraft is a criminal offense. You will see Atamenji will say that, oh, people should not associate opposition, they should not come together. But Bello Buba and or Chiruma, all the people, they have come together. So in Cameroon, we think that we have a centralized form of government. What we have is a personalized form of government. People come out and they make up things. They don't even follow their own laws. They don't know their own laws. And for the most part, most of us will agree that maybe it's a mechanism to achieve what we want. That's where we disagree.
Let me get to Martin, please. Okay, I see Dennis one has something to say.
No, Comrade Chris, I want to call this so-called Professor Ngo, the Ngo man. He is trying to defend La République du Cameroon. Ask him the simple question. If he thinks that 1972 was the will of the people, why is it that since then the government has prohibited a discussion on the form of the state? You get the point?
Yeah.
Article 47 directly prohibited the abolition of the federation. They abolished it and then now put an injunction on discussing the form of the state. How is it possible that he is claiming that this was the will of the people, and then after that they now say you cannot discuss the form of the state? Remember when the lawyers went on strike and they were talking of federation, they said no, federation was out of the question. Nobody could discuss federation. Look at the absurdities that the so-called goals are defending. Look at. So it is something that I cannot understand really. The stupidities as to such an extent that if you are quoting the law in Cameroon, you are wasting your time because nobody respects that thing called the law. Everybody does exactly as they want, and they get the sycophants like Ngo to come and defend it, and they pretend that they have the podium to talk and speak like professors.
Yeah. Let get to Barrister Martin. I know you probably have something to add there in that argument. I still find those talking about federation very troubling, especially knowing that you agree to a two-state federation and go to Yaoundé. You have no voice. You have no voice because they will have 200 parliamentarians and you will have 20. And out of 20, according to Professor Ingor, if 9 should vote yes on any law, it passes. But then, if they send their own bill and all of the 20 vote for it, and on the other side, only few vote for it, it cannot pass. I like your thought on that.
Comrade Chris, as I said, this constitution is a domestic document, which I don't even want to waste my effort on it. In 1972, Ngo is saying that some parliamentarians voted and the rest. I'm telling Mr. Ngo to go and check his history books. He says that he's a historian. Ahijo came on a podium and said, j'ai décidé de mettre fin à la fédération, mais je veux demander au peuple pendant 2 semaines or something like that. So he said, I have decided to end the federation. He didn't say parliament, he didn't say the people have decided. J'ai décidé de mettre fin à la fédération. Je veux demander au peuple. So he will then ask all people them in 2 weeks. So he decided to end it. So he was king of the people. He didn't say parliament has backed me. So all these revisionist things Ngo is saying, even Ngo can say that Ahijo didn't come out and say that in 1972. Let him come and tell me. So we know what is happening. Why are we wasting our time? Listening says if they give a draft, what federation we take it. If they give special status, we take it. They don't wait for you to take anything. They decide and give and implement. They've implemented their special status. They've implemented their the regional assemblies. They've implemented anything, albeit on paper. So are they waiting for you to take or not take? Are they asking your opinion? You are non-entity. You are zero. You are they decide what they are doing and they say we've done it. Whether they've done it or not, who knows? So it's a waste of time. I don't even want to waste my time discussing a constitution. We are talking about 2 international parties. A constitution is not a subject of international law. So it's a domestic thing. Even today, we can decide today that we want to stay in a federation. Nothing stops us Southern Cameroonians. We can decide in the document I prepared. I said now we have a choice as a people to federate with Nigeria, to federate with Equatorial Guinea, who's our neighbor, to federate with La Republic du Cameroon, or to stay on our own. We today, the people, can decide that. We can decide that there's nothing special about La Republic du Cameroon. It's our neighbor. We can federate with Equatorial Guinea because we have a boundary in the island of Bioko. So there's nothing special there. We can even federate with Nigeria, but we want to be on our own. So La Republic should not think that they have anything special with us. No.
They have oh yeah special with you. They have oh yeah please. They have oh yeah special with you.
Comrade Chris, I have said that a federation between La République du Cameroon and the people of the Southern Cameroons is like a contract between a sheep and a wolf. Yes, that is what it is. How do you expect the wolf to respect the agreement of the sheep? That is the point. There's no possibility that, you see, people don't understand what a federation is. Because in a federation, it is still one nation. They will still have the right to come and swarm you in your classrooms and be a majority in every classroom you like. They will still have the right to come and take over your economy. They will still have the right to do exactly as they please. And there's no mechanism by which you will exclude them. And tell me, anybody who is reasonable, who have you ever seen who has sense in his head, who says to his neighbor and has his own house, says, let us just break this fence and join our 2 houses so that you can take control? We have our own territory. We have everything. Why should we want to federate with anybody? Let someone tell me that reason. Let someone give me a reason why we should have our own house, our territory, and up to go and imprison ourselves with any other person. Why? Why did we do that? Let someone explain that to me. Let me hear. So I reject federation completely. We have a right to our own sovereignty and only to have friendly relations with whoever we like, not federating. Give me a single example of two foreign countries that have federated and it has succeeded in the world. Give me one example. So let us not go and start things that history has proven that those things never work. Especially in Africa, those things never work.
You will hear people quote the examples of Canada, the USA, the United Kingdom.
Which Canada?
Tanzania and Zanzibar,
let them forget.
They came together and it worked. The president, they even made somebody from Zanzibar president of Tanzania today. It was called Angaika in those days. So the concept, there's nothing wrong with federation. It can work if we wanted it, but we don't want it. Simple.
Because no, we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it.
In principle, if you make a federation, you can have competencies where a particular state has the powers to pass its own law. That this kind of business
human nature will not make it work. Human nature will never allow it to work. No, human nature will never allow it to work.
Listen, gentlemen, I like the concept of federation. The only problem is that we're in the wrong country. We're talking with the wrong.
No, it will not work anywhere. It will not work anywhere.
Dennis, hold on a second. It works in the USA. It works in Canada.
No,
it works in the United Kingdom.
It's a different issue.
But of course, you and I know it will not work. It will never work in Cameroon because one party is scheming to swallow you all together. That's a problem. All right, please, you hang in there. Let's take a short break outside. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we discuss briefly 20th May and open the phone lines. Let's hear what the people out there are thinking. All right, please don't touch your remote. Hit your share button as I come back.
Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, 20th May is here and gone, and it is history. Ambazonians continue to defy it in the course of 7 years and counting into this conflict. My question is La République du Cameroon getting the message that Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, mean what they say and what they want, that they are done with La République du Cameroon? I guess if I were in their position after 7 years of boycotting 11 February, boycotting 20th May, boycotting all their elections, I will be saying, well, I think these guys, they mean what they want. Let's sit down, have a genuine discussion, negotiation with them. After all, military might has failed. It doesn't appear like that is the message that Yaoundé is getting so far. They still hope that military might will bring this conflict to an end. But the message that Ambazonia has sent is the message of resolve. Resolve. And in the days ahead, as La République du Cameroon prepare for their presidential, parliamentary, senatorial, and council elections, comrades Martin, Alex, and Dennis, what do you think is going through the minds of politicians in La République du Cameroon today, considering what happened on 20th May, the killings of their military and the resolve of Ambazonians not to participate in anything organized by them? What do you think? What do you think is going through the minds of their politicians today, Alex?
Well, to me, they are trying to micromanage a 91-year-old person to be there. I believe Etudi is panicking. Etudi have got a concern because they know if they change Mr. Biya is the last dictator after Aijo that will ever do what have happened in Cameroon. Because I believe they know that what is happening in Cameroon is they have a personalized form of government, personalized, that's it. They adore somebody, they use Mr. Biya like a trademark. He's a trademark because for 42 years we have been having the same people. But the truth is, these people, they know they are coming to the end of their kakistocracy government. That is the truth. They will never show it to us, but inside it, they are panicking. I'm telling you, some years back, when we started the strike, Etudi was panicking, and they gathered their momentum after some time. But the truth is, they are using their military to kill Cameroonians or the people of the Cameroons. What they are doing is wrong. And my point, we keep on blaming only La République. The truth, I will tell you, the Western country are part of the so-called genocide. That is the truth to me. And to me, I want to say on your program, I've been thinking, we should start storming the French embassy because they are part of that problem. Because if we sit here, we just say, oh, it's Paul Biya, it's Paul Biya. Paul Biya have made it clear to us. He said he was a student of the French president. After the national dialogue, Paul Biya told us that he was going to France to give an account of what happened in the national dialogue. Indirectly, Biya is telling us he is not in charge. We are still under imperialism. And my point is, we are suffering as Anglophones in that country because why? Britain left. So why should we be suffering because of La République du Cameroon? So to me, it's a matter of fact that I don't want to use the word on your program, but as I said before, the secessionist is La République du Cameroon. You cannot be imposing your institution on us. That's my problem. I call for equal status, and I agree to certain part because as Barrister Martin said, he said, oh, Alex, if they have made their things in paper. That's not what I'm saying. My point, what I'm saying is very important. When you see, like in Sounthern, Mr. Martin is very versed with the United Kingdom. When they Sounthern, they created a political party, it was not to come to Westminster. It was about to take the seat and say, no, I'm not coming to Westminster. That's what they were doing. And today, Sounthern, they have a first minister in Northern Ireland. In 10 years' time, they plan to have a referendum to have a united Ireland. In 1934, they created Scottish National Party. Is it in 2015 they had the decentralization? They don't want decentralization. But if you can be in that position to take the seat and say, I'm not going to Yaoundé, you have the mandate. It's a different way to look at it. People have another way. I always believe in order to construct a house, you start with the foundation, not with the roof. That's how I believe. And I believe Yaoundé, they can be pretending, they are panicking. I will not support the wrong thing. And I will always say on your program, we Anglophone, we have been annexed. We are second-class citizens. In Cameroon, we say we practice common law. They don't practice common law in the Cameroon. You cannot tell somebody have committed a crime in the English part of Cameroon, send him to a military tribunal. You should try that person in the English part of Cameroon. So to me, Etudi is panicking. And to me, by the end of this year, without any evidence, I believe something will happen in the Cameroon. That election will not even take place next year. Those are my words.
All right. Barrister Martin, what do you think is going on in the minds of Cameroon politicians considering the failure of their 20th May failure in Ambazonia?
Comrade Chris, nothing. I don't think anything is going on in their minds. These guys, the worst thing you do is you underrate your opponent. From 22nd of September 2017, they knew the Southern Cameroonians or Ambazonians have revolted against the state. They knew it. So there is nothing whether you don't attend 20th May or it doesn't change that position. They knew the thing. The people have revolted mentally. They are out of this thing. The only thing they are trying to do with the military is to contain the situation, try to give like a frozen kind of conflict where life keep continuing, hoping that over time people get tired and normalcy will come and the thing will die a natural death. Not participating in 20th May doesn't surprise them. The only thing that is surprised them is the amount of fighting and killing of their people. They thought maybe the resistance has decreased a bit. It showed them that the amount of this resistance, they are just touching the tip of the iceberg. That the system is just as the same. Given the opportunity, they will rise from all over again and continue fighting them. That is what they know. But to say that no 20th May, they panic. They don't panic anything. They knew these guys mentally are gone.
No, I'm talking in terms of continuing to pursue the military option. Because they have thought that a military option will subdue Ambazonian resistance. But apparently, and they were hoping to see some good results, better results from the previous years. This time, in 20th May, these are the things they use engaging to see how effective their strategies have been. So, year in, year out, they haven't worked. This time, it didn't work. Do you see them thinking of changing strategy?
Just to make one point before you give the other person, they interviewed Shiruma, this their spokesman over Al Jazeera. They interviewed him and they asked him that, why can't you, this situation is this bad, why can't you just talk to these people in a dialogue? He says, talk what to them, dialogue what with them? How can you talk with people who have it as a religion in their head to secede? What can you offer them? Federation, they will not even take, nothing they will take. How can you go and talk with somebody when secession is a religion in his head? You cannot dialogue with such people, you just have to keep fighting him. Because there is nothing you can go and offer these people. What can we go and talk to them to offer? To go and offer them secession? What do you want us to go and talk to them? That's what he told them. He said in Al Jazeera. So the woman was very brilliant. He says, okay, now with all this fighting, if now in hindsight, if the thing was starting today, would you have done the same way you did it? He says, no way. If in hindsight, we wouldn't have taken this part we took. Our greatest mistake is we underrated the role of the diaspora in this issue. It took us by surprise. So in hindsight now, if it was starting, maybe this military option, we would not have taken these options. That's Chiruma. I heard it on Al Jazeera myself. So they have their own way.
Chiroma is lying. He's never known. He doesn't have any pedigree for truth. I think if they knew what they, if they knew what they know today, they would have done it a different way from the beginning.
Yeah, that's what he said. I think if they were today in the beginning now, they've learned a lot of things. If they were to do it in hindsight now, they will not follow the exact path.
All right, Conrad, please give me a second. Let's take these callers for the moment. Let's see their contributions. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Comrade Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, greetings. This is Maitre Nikon calling from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You have another Maitre here on the set, Maitre Alex.
He's my brother. I used to know him far back nowadays in the SUIL.
Are you not a member of his party?
No way.
Why not?
Anyway, let me start by appreciating you for always bringing rich, educated minds on your board so they can try to sensitize our public. And I would like to suggest that you make my able friend, Comrade Dennis attempting your consultant.
Okay, I hear you. In what perspective?
Yeah, and it says that he can guide you along so as to enrich you more, so we keep on sensitizing our people because, Comrade Dennis attempting is like an encyclopedia for the Southern Cameroon. So, I would suggest that, most of these are media outlets usually have consultants. So, I would propose that you make Mr. Dennis attempting your consultant.
Well,
Then,
I will put you on the list. I will include you. I include you on the list of sponsors.
Well, I have also been, yes, of course, I've been actively sponsoring a lot of other programs in regard to our liberation fight. So, maybe not directly to you, but I think you still have various images from me. I forwarded to you sometime about my own activities in regard to our liberation, in terms of my contribution. So I think you should remember me very well for that. Yes, furthermore, I also want to thank my able comrade, Barrister Martin. It's a long time we communicated with you. Yes, I'm very, very delighted this evening for how rich you keep educating our people. And in regards to what is so-called the first 20th May, it's nothing. If you watch across media outlets in the Southern Cameroons, you could watch even this, they call him, this Francophone guy, he was, Nyamzi, I don't know his name. They were all challenging that there's nothing like 20th May, there's nothing like anything. Even on the equinox, there's this ship called Mbok Mbok. He said, first and foremost, Ahijo fooled the Southern Cameroonians in 1972. He steals from the Southern Cameroonians in 1972. The whole wrong thing is that the Francophones have wronged the Southern Cameroonians. That is the declaration I saw across media outlets in the Southern Cameroon. In La Republic of Cameroon. Yes, when it comes to, I think my able friend, Mete Lisinge, you keep mentioning about Scotland. That's a country of law.
Right.
That's a country of law. La Republic doesn't even respect its own laws. How do you think they can adopt a strategy that the Southern Cameroonians have implemented? Teachers just went out with other people went out. They tortured them. They are the very people. La Republic of Cameroon is the one that came out with gunship helicopter, killing our people. Then how do you think that we pull our arm? I hear you say, if they bring us a special status, we take. If they bring us this, don't we have a right to call ourselves Ambazuna Southern Cameroonian? We came together, two people. You went back to calling ourselves the Republic of Cameroon. Why should I not name myself the name I want to give myself? So please, coming back to this man you call, does he even deserve the name to be called Professor Ngongo? This is somebody who's a refugee in our territory. He escaped the war. He's a Bulubeti man. He escaped the war. We gave him refuge in our land. Today he's trying to distort our history, fool our youth, so as to keep them in confusion, so they continue to govern our people. They have all failed. The oxygen tank has burst. There's no more oxygen in the tank. The breaking news will come from Yaoundé. Southern Cameroon Ambassador is already free. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, thank you for that articulation, sir. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen out there, the phone line is open and you have it right there on your screen.
I want you to say something. Chris,
on ground zero, would like to hear your opinion too. So again, the phone line is there. Go ahead and call and let's know what is on your mind. So I will give the microphone to Alex to respond to the last caller here.
Yeah, I want to respond that in the sense, a lot of people don't still understand me. They don't understand what I'm saying. If you want to build a house, start from the foundation, not the roof. Independence is the roof. And when I'm not saying that, to me, British Cameroon was a country. We have been annexed. But my point is, how do we want to achieve to get, whether it's independent or whatsoever? And I've learned from all other people who have been in similar situations like us, whether it's in the Flemish people in Belgium, whether the Catalans or whatsoever. The point is, these people, when they say we should put in Northern Ireland, you had IRA, they were fighting war. You have Sinn Féin, they had a political party. So some people choose to fight the war, other people fight to take the seat. And when you take the seat, I don't go to Yaoundé. That's what they did in Northern Ireland. So I'm saying people have different ways to fight. I'm not saying that Britain was not a land of law some time ago. Other countries, they were not a land of law. So my point is, people, I'm not saying people should argue on what I say. People have choose war. Sean Fain, they choose Jerry Adam, who used to be the leader of Northern Ireland. He was a member of what? This party, Sean Fain. Then Martin McGuinness was what? IRA. They were fighting war. So people choose to fight war, fine. Other people can choose to do it in another way. That's how it works. And my point is, I'm an open person. I debate with any person and I'm open. I'm not somebody who says there's one size fits it all. When we put ourselves in that one size fits it all, it's very dangerous because I believe it's small, catching monkey. I believe that the little you get, you climb the step, you keep on going. That's how I look at it. What is achievable? As we speak on this platform, there are people in British Cameroon, they don't have electricity, they don't have water, they don't have internet, they cannot eat. But if today we can give them roads, we're abroad. If today we can make them have electricity, if today we can make them to have a little bit of things, that's good for them. We shouldn't be thinking because we are abroad or whatsoever.
All right. Comrade, hold your line of thought there. Hold your line of thought there. I don't think we're advocating for independence because we're abroad, but it's just what will serve our people. But hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from? Hello. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Republic.
From where?
French Cameroon.
French Cameroon. Okay. What is on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I just want to first of all greet all of you in the panel there. It's wonderful, awesome. But there is something I want to say. We want something.
I'm sorry. Can you raise your voice a little bit? It's quite low.
Yes. Are you getting me now?
That's better. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was saying that the planet near the sun is hotter, and nobody can live there. You people are saying good things, but we need to add something into it, because in as far as we keep on saying this, and there is no power in the ground, it's just time waste. Let's do it well. We talk and then we add the power on the ground. And there are
hold on there. I think that is an overstatement, sir. When you say no power on the ground, how do you think we've gotten here? I mean, counting 8 years.
Yeah, when I say there is no power on the ground, that is why I cited the planet near the sun. Because the reason why they keep on whining time, because they know we're going to get tired. And so that is why they keep on whining time. So we need to tell them that there is more into that. We keep on adding the power. We keep on developing strategy for us to join the money and buy the weapon.
Well, I agree with you, but I think it is something that is already in. I think I agree with you, and I believe it is something that is already in the works. You will recall that when we started this, we started with those, they call it rubber guns or something like that. We started with that. Then we went to the chat rooms, right? Then from the chat rooms, we made a big leap to Le Fancy, Kiangi, and the stuff. We went to the AKs. We've even gone now to, what do you call it? The big sticks, what is the name? The
RPG.
I've forgotten the name. Yeah, but we are progressing. Who knows what will come up tomorrow? We may come with bulldozers tomorrow. Who knows, right? So please, we get your point, and you are saying the right thing. We are, this is something we did not prepare for, and we are making progress inch by inch, and we will get there. And I can only reassure La République du Cameroon, if they think that we are about, or we will be calling for a ceasefire without a comprehensive sit down to talk about the root causes or a referendum that determines the rights of Ambazonia, they make a very big mistake. We've not gone these 8 years to just turn around, lay down arms and run with our hands on our head and go join La Republique. We've passed that time. Thank you for the call, sir.
Comrade Chris.
Okay, let's get to another caller here.
Comrade Chris.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can you turn down the volume of your TV first, please?
Hello.
Turn down the volume of your TV before and focus on your phone.
Okay.
All right. Where are you calling from, sir?
From Ground Zero.
Okay. What is on your mind?
I want to comment on what the so-called professor has been saying. You know, the professor was trained by those people, and he's just repeating what they are saying. Ask the professor, when in history, even before the Germans came, these two countries were one. Ask the professor, who ruled that country that was one? Ask the professor, where was the capital of that country, of these two countries that were one? Ask the professor, what language did they use to govern?
Yeah.
So you see, the man doesn't even know what he's saying. He's just what I call a nincompoop. You know, the one of those people who want to prove to become irrelevant, and that is why he makes himself available to come and say all type of inanities. He is someone who doesn't know the history. In fact, the Article 47 that is talking about is quite clear. Quite clear. Nothing that will touch the system of government was to be acceptable. That's what is written there.
But he reversed that, though.
He reversed that. That is the reason why I am calling, because he thinks that he's dealing with fools, but he doesn't know that there are people who know this history by far more than him.
But you know, hold on there, sir. That's a very interesting point. How come that Professor Ngo became the dominant custodian of Amazonian history? Where are the Tazifos, the Awasoms? I grew up going to school reading Cameroon history by Tazifo, Awasom, and the rest. How come Professor Ngo became the dominant figure, the purveyor, as I say, of Amazonian history?
Well, someone has already made mention that he's a refugee here.
And that is why the question becomes more relevant.
So he is one of the La République. So we can't be surprised to hear him say such things.
Well, please, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. You have a great night, sir.
Yeah, don't forget to ask him those 4 questions.
Well, unfortunately, he is not here. I invited him, and
the thing is that when they talk about the German Cameroon, we were supposed to even say that we were the real Cameroon, because the Germans ruled from here.
Correct.
The Germans ruled from here.
Right.
And the Germans ruled from here, and they had Congo, all those other countries. But when the German administrator came, he found out that all these other countries he had to rule were speaking a language that was he was not conversant with. But in southern Cameroon, were speaking English. And that is why he decided to make his capital in Buea.
Right.
To rule Southern Cameroon, La Republic, Congo, Chad, Central African Republic, and all the rest.
Yeah, and they were all Cameroon, German Cameroon. Anyways, thank you for the call. Anyway, thank you for the call. I need to take other callers, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you too.
All right. All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Yes, Comrade Chris. Good day.
Good day, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the United States.
All right. What is on your mind, sir?
I want to ask those who are saying that they want to fight for Cameroon to return back to the federal state, and those who call themselves federalists. After fighting this war for 8 years, and now some of them have retreated and saying that they want some kind of autonomy within Cameroon itself. Now my question is, do they think that after they have expressed their views that they want a total independence for the Southern Cameroons, and now because they have not been able to achieve it within 8 years and they're backtracking, going to some kind of federation, do they think the Republic of Cameroon will grant them that federal status, knowing fully well that their plans are, if they are given this semi-autonomy, they will use that as a platform to gain total independence? And that's the question I wanted to ask them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will ask them the question. In the meantime, let's get back first to the phones. Hello. Hello. Okay, I think we missed that caller. Let's see. Who else is here? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please? Hello, I can hear you. Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from home front.
From the home front. All right. What is on your mind from the home front?
Thank you. I wish to appreciate their panelists, their expressions, and all that they have said.
Okay.
But for the issue of federation.
Okay.
First of all, we should take note. I want us to take note of this. From 1961, all that has been happening with British Southern Cameroon has all been illegality.
Okay.
Whether it's a number of servitude or whatever, all along has been all illegality. 2, we have tested them for 62 years and we already know who they are. And there is no reason for us to think of trying to test them again with another federation system. That should be completely cancelled out from any mind of any Southern Cameroonian if he is for the people. Thirdly, it has been established and it's very clear that all these things that we have been going through, they are programmed or designed and executed by France. Executed by the Republic, sponsored by France. And La Republique has never known independence. They are a product of France. And I don't see how someone who is not independent can be talking with someone who has status in independence. So we should take this, and the president of La Republique even confirmed and said that they had a program of assimilation. He said it with his mouth. So that has been the program that was put in place from the word go, from Ahijo to this other man that is on the throne now. So to me, I feel that we are on the right track. No turning left, no turning right. Only forward to have what we want.
All right.
Please, dear panelists, we should take this and take it seriously. This is the chance for us to have what we want. We should not try to mix up ideas to confuse people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the call. Comrade, Metro Alex, you heard these last two callers, you and Barrister Martin there. I know Martin is straight for independence, but he is saying nothing wrong with federation. If it was coming from the right source and it can be maintained or kept like in Canada, USA, and so on. What do you think when you hear people from ground zero in that matter saying, listen, you are on the right track, let's keep it on nothing but independence? Comrade Alex, please.
My point is, I always try to look at what is achievable. Like, I look at it like a journey. I don't say, I want this. Do I have the power to give independence today? I don't have the power. But at the end of the day, I always look at things that I agree the callers what they're saying. My point is simple, and I always repeat this from time and again. One, La République du Cameroon is imposing their institution on us. As an Anglophone, do I wonder they should impose a NAM that came from France in October 1945? No. As an Anglophone, do I wonder they should decide to use France CFA that they brought in 26 December 1945 from France? No. And as an Anglophone, do I want the military tribunal to be trying us that they got from France in 12 March, 1793? No. As an Anglophone, do I want unelected governors, duos that they got Napoleon created in 1800? No. As an Anglophone, do I want ENS that they got from France in 1794? No. CEMAC that we don't even have money? No. So my point is, it's simple. As an Anglophone, I'm not a secessionist. I'm saying I don't want to be in that union that they don't respect me. There's no equal opportunity. I don't want, that's my position. I should not be a second-class citizen in a country that I believe it's my country. Do I want to secede? No, I don't want to secede. I don't want to be in a country that they don't respect my right. I want to come out of it. It's a domestic violence, and that's my point of view. And whether people like it or not, I see a lot of people come and say, oh, this is secessionist. The people who are secessionists is the Paul Biya, the Aito, and what? We are not secessionists. I want to be in a country that I can aspire to be the manager of CRTV. I can aspire to be the chief judge in the country. I can aspire to be the next president in the country. I have more chance to be a member of parliament in the United Kingdom than in my own country where I was born. So at the end of the day, whether these people in La République du Cameroon, they like it or not, they are the problem. I don't want to use names. Forget. We don't need to use whether you're ambassador or you're this or this. The truth is, we have been annexed, and Anglophones, they don't have equal right in that country. And if you don't want to give us that equal right, my point is simple. I want to go out of that country because you don't give me that right. That's my position. And the problem is, whether we like it or not, Anglophones were treated like second-class citizens. That is a fact. And nobody wants to be a second-class citizen in a so-called country.
All right. Thank you, Barrister Alex. At this moment, we're going to round this up. Let me bring in Barrister Martin to make the last point on this subject, and then I get to Dennis, and we'll call it a night.
Comrade Chris, my position is that we are for independence and we are fighting for independence. We are in a war that has been 8 years. There is no other venue to ventilate our ambitions apart from continuing with this war. We should continue and fight the war. If a guy like Metro Leasing wants his federation, let him fight for it. We want war. We want independence. We are fighting for our independence.
Mr. Martin, I've never talked about federation. I've never used that word. You are the one. Please.
Oh, sorry then. Sorry, I might have used it. I might be confused.
You are a lawyer. When you keep on saying things I've never said, that's misleading.
But you are talking of Anglophone. Anglophone is in what context? In the unity state or in a
It
federation?
doesn't matter how you say it. When Fongodi Dinka said in 1984, how many of you were standing behind Fongodi Dinka? None of you. It was a one-man protest. I started fighting. I have newspaper with Peter Manyonge talking about
I'm not
what
arguing what
I'm
you're.
not
I'm not arguing what you're saying. You are
no,
confusing
no,
what I'm saying. I'm
I'm
saying,
going to talk
okay,
about
let me put it.
federalism.
No, hold on. Let me put it this
I'm going to
way.
talk about
Let the
federalism.
federalists fight for their
Why did
federation.
you
We
fight
don't.
in
We who are at
1985?
war,
Most
we
of
will
you
fight
were
for
not
the.
there.
We will fight for our independence. The problem
Yes,
is
fight for
the
your
federal.
independence,
You
but
are not
don't
the
misquote me.
federalists, but the federalists are trying to
Don't misquote
commingle.
me.
The
Don't
federalists are
misquote
going
me.
all out of their way to mingle with the
No, I
restorationists.
talk with
These things
everybody.
are
I
two
talk with everybody.
independent things that
Mr.
can never be
Martin,
mixed together.
Mr. Martin,
Either
my
we are fighting for
political opinion.
independence, whoever is
No,
fighting
my
for federation can
political
fight for
opinion
his
have got nothing
federation.
to do with my
And of
family.
those of us who are fighting for independence, we fight for our independence. We are at
Mr.
war.
Martin,
A federalist is not
you
at
need,
war. We are
Mr.
at war.
Martin, from
I'm
the
not talking
basic
about you.
political
Listen
opinion.
there. You've made your correction that you've not talked about federation. I'm talking about those who talk about federation, not you
My
anymore.
point is,
Your
you're
point is
mistaking
very clear.
political opinion with
Your point has been
you're
taken. Thanks for the
I have my
correction. Your
family.
point has been
I
taken.
have my
So the
family who are already
federalists,
in Cameroon.
the, the
You
federalists
are
now
mistaking
can fight
political
for their
opinion.
federation. Unionists can fight to stay with La République du Cameroon. Those of us who are restorationists, we are at war fighting for our independence. The issue is the federalists should not try to commingle their position with our own. If we are
Martin, you are in
going
London, you
tomorrow
are
to
at war.
negotiate with La République du
Martin, you
Cameroon,
are in
we
London, you
are
are at
having our
war.
position. If a person is a unionist,
You are
fair
in
enough, he
London, you
fights
are at
with La
war.
République. Maybe La République can
One person at
satisfy
a
him and
time.
he stays
Barrister
in the
Alex,
union with
hold
La
on a
République
second.
du
You
Cameroon.
will
No
You
problem
respond
cannot
to
with
be
that.
him.
fighting war by being in London. You can't be fighting war by being in London. Go and fight. Go and fight.
So law is about geography. What are you talking about?
No, you
Listen, you are
cannot be
more
at
educated
war
than this.
by being in
Is there
London.
a particular position to fight war? Did
If I want to
Napoleon not
fight
go
war, I
out
will
of
go
France
to
before he
London.
mobilized himself and won in France?
If I want
What are
to
you
fight a
talking?
war, I will go to Cameroon. I
Hello.
will stick to London.
A lot of
All
Palestine
right.
has just been
I will.
recognized by
You
states
guys hold
today.
on.
Are
Hold on with your
Palestinians
debate.
not
Let
the
me get to
country?
this caller here. Hello.
I think you're getting me confused.
No, I'm not getting you confused.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from? Oh, you have a very poor connection. I can barely understand you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better. Go on.
All right. Yes, Comrade Chris, I just wanted to say a few things on participating in the discussion.
Okay, go on, sir.
Yes, I want to say this about Professor Ngor. In order to respond to him, I think we have to look at his motivations, motivating him to say the things. Does he truly believe the man? I will bet you that even he himself may be shocked sometimes to realize what he is saying, because I believe what is motivating him is hunger. The need to satisfy his own personal needs. I think for President Ngor,
what would be his own personal needs? I guess the man is an old man, retired, and waiting for when the Lord will call him. What would be the personal need at this age?
People always think that way. No, is motivated by doing what is right for survival. So I believe that God up one day and looked at his game. Probably he has satisfied some of his personal needs in life, and he said to himself, "What can I do?" And to him, the only rational thing is to pivot towards the Cameroon with the hope that he will be rewarded, as others have, if he should show to them just how much he stooped low to them and Bazonia. Unfortunately for him, he's making it at a very wrong time. So I believe God in heart does not believe that what he is saying or doing is right, but he has to do it for his own very survival. I don't think it has anything to do with his own personal conviction that what he is doing is the right thing. Now, to those who call themselves federalists and who are advocating for some kind of a federation with the Republic of Cameroon, my question is this. When I look out there, I don't see any coming together of federalists, any organization of federalists who are organizing to mount any pressure on the Republic of Cameroon to give them what they want, as compared to the people of the Southern Cameroons and Tanzania who are sacrificing blood, sweat, and treasure in order to achieve what they want. So my question is this. What are the federalists sacrificing in order to achieve what they say they want, which is a federation with La Republic of Cameroon? That's my question to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't think there is anybody here who is standing for federation. I don't think that is what Alex Lisenge is saying, and that is not either what Barrister Martin is saying. No defender of federation here, I guess. But gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for being part of the show tonight. We are out of time. I look forward to having you back here one of these days. Comrade Martin and Dennis, Alex, was a great pleasure to have you. You, of course, you will always come back here, sirs. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will call it a night tonight at this point. I look forward to coming back here in the course of the week. But I have a very, very, very feisty interview tomorrow. I think again on Thursday, on the weekend too. One with Divine Chamokong and another with Mimi Mefor. Coming up, the first one is tomorrow with Divine Chamokong. I think either Friday or Saturday with Mimi Mefor. I will see we can rebroadcast that here on the ABS in the course of the week. But look for Divine Chamokong's show tomorrow, Facebook and YouTube around this very time tomorrow, and watch the show. That is all that I have for you tonight. It was my pleasure being with you today. You have a great night and God bless you all.